Hello everybody, and welcome to today's tutorial. Here we're going to be talking about involutes and how you can create them. So you're probably more commonly used to them as being the teeth on a gear. So we'll start by making our base circle. And now we want to sketch the profile, but we're going to need to have some construction lines. So I'm going to create a line from the center every 5 degrees to help me start to make the involutes. So I made this a little bit easier on myself by changing our snap to 5 in our snap settings in our application menu. So once I have them all set up, I think we might want to go to 35. Let's zoom in, because we have a mathematical formula for creating the profile. So we want to make a tangent line every 5 degrees, and we want to make it pi times the diameter, which is 100, times the angular measurement, which will be 5 degrees. So we're going to do 5 divided by 360 and hit enter. So that will give you a point on the profile of the involute, which we will create with a spline. So for our next one, we'll do pi times 100 times the angle, which this time will be 10 divided by 360. But to make things a little bit easier on ourselves, I'm actually going to take this equation and I'll copy it, just like text, so that next time when I enter my value for 15 on our third line, all I have to do is change the 10 to 15. Now you can get as precise as you want when you're doing this. I went with every 5 degrees because I didn't really want to spend the time to create one every 1 degree or every 2 degrees. And you'll see that it really doesn't have to be much more precise than this. You notice the lines are slowly starting to stagger as I create them. And you might even want to go back in and change the spline a little bit more. Maybe create them 5 apart to start off with. And maybe if you feel that you should have a stricter tolerance, you can start adding them between them, maybe 2.5, maybe 1 or 2 degrees. So we'll change this to 30. And then put in one more. So this is definitely the slow way to create an involute, but I'm still getting it done in SpaceClaim. Alright, so we have our lines created. Now I'm just going to box select these construction lines and get rid of them for good. Just delete them from the screen. And so I want to go in now and create my spline. So I'm going to just connect each point from the end of this line to create the spline. So, and also something I did to help me out here was I turned off grid snap so that I would only snap to the points on these lines. So we'll hit this one and the last one right here, which is basically be at the top of your circle. So now we have the curvature of one of our gear teeth. So I'm going to box select everything and just control unselect these 3 lines and delete the other ones because they were only there for construction's sake. Now one side of an involute basically just needs to be mirrored over to the other side. So we want to just set our angle. So I want to have 33 gear teeth, so I'm going to do 360 divided by 2 times 33 because it'll be mirrored over. So now that I have our line constructed there, I'll just set that to a mirror line and mirror this line to the other side. So now we have both sides of our involute. So I want to create a top, but at first I probably want to delete this mirror line. So now we'll just draw a straight line from one side to the next. So now we're going to be able to have a surface that I can copy around and create the correct profile. So we'll start by pulling out our base circle in both directions, and then the gear tooth. So now to copy it, we all know I just take that geometry and just do a control move. But I'm only really copying one here because I didn't check the create pattern button. So make sure that's checked, and then control drag it until you pop into a dimension. So we have 8 here to start off with. Now we can click on one and change the count. So let's change this to 33 because that's the number of teeth that I wanted. But when I created 33, and you'll see here, it jumps just to touching. every single tooth is exactly able to fit, which really isn't what I wanted. I want a little bit of gap between them. So let's go back and change this line that I made. Let me redo once to bring that back. And I'll actually change the angle just slightly. So we'll change that by, let's say, a ½ degree. So we'll pull that in by -0.5. So this way we'll have a little bit more space between each tooth. And you can control this by whatever the gap needs to be. So now we can just set this as a mirror line again, copy over the geometry like before, and get rid of the mirror line altogether. Let's also get rid of this construction line too. So now I'll connect the top together to complete our surface and do the same as last time. I'll pull our base circle out both ways, maybe pull our gear tooth out a little bit, and then go through and copy this around until I have 33. So now once you make this change and you have 33 teeth, we can do some other things. We can put a hole through it so we can attach our gear to something, or maybe we could pull our base circle down to actually give us our root circle, and maybe add some rounds to the inside. So I hope this has been helpful in giving you the ability to create these involutes and be able to work with and create gears. Thank you for watching.